Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports.
All right, it is the Buckeye Blitz, powered by DSP Media on FanStream Sports. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Tito, Jeff Thidoff, and you can follow me on Twitter @ThatHappens. Listen, subscribe, all these things. Like the podcast, do it all. DSP Media on FanStream Sports. But the reason I'm doing another Buckeye Blitz for today, some news came out. Ryan Day had a press conference talking about the spring game. We've been waiting on some news on exactly what the format of the spring game would be. I kind of figure it would be was last year, which is mainly offense versus defense, and still be scored kind of the same way they did last year, where the 6 points for a touchdown, 3 points for a forced turnover by the defense, 3 points for a 3 and out, and whatnot. That kind of scoring, but it'll be very. He was worried about the depth coming in on a couple positions, specifically defensive end. And didn't really think he could do a full Scarlet versus Gray breakup draft kind of team, because he wants to be able to rotate guys in and out a lot more often. And so he thought offense, defense would be the best way to go. But they'll still play 4 quarters. He said they might do a running clock in the fourth quarter over at the Horseshoe. He also mentioned that more than 50,000 tickets have already been sold, which is a good sign leading into the game, because it's only midweek right now. You'll get a lot of people that will choose to go last minute. And Ohio State has had, I think, upwards of, if not over 100,000 fans for a spring game before. So the big news that came out of it, though, was he was asked a question about the quarterback competition, which is something we've all been looking forward to seeing, is how, Kyle McCord and Devin Brown do in this competition, as, we are now ending. It'll be the last day of the spring practice. There is April 15th, and then we won't see him again for a while. And that's when the bombshell was dropped by Ryan Day that Devin Brown is not playing in the spring game. Said he had something happen to his finger. He didn't say exactly what it was, but he did say there was something that just happened to his finger, and he had to have some kind of procedure done on it, and he is not going to be available for the game. Day said it was not a serious injury. He expects to be back throwing very soon and have a full summer of work and ready for the season and all that. So he did say that it's going to keep him out of the game, though. So that makes things a little more interesting. No Devin Brown. It's one of the things we're looking forward to seeing. But we will see all 4 other quarterbacks in action, is what Ryan Day said. He also said he doesn't want to have a repeat of 2018 with quarterback battles and things like that. We want to be able to figure out who this is by the time the season starts. And asked about the offensive line. Ryan Day said he wasn't singing the praise. He said it needs to keep moving forward. And he was asked about how he feels right now where the offensive line is at. And he said it's kind of hard to answer that question, because there's still so much time for them to go and to grow. And he said, if you had talked to me a year ago, I might not have felt great about where Paris Johnson was at. And then you look at where the growth was he had, and how exponentially he got better. And now he's going to be he should be a top 10 draft pick in the NFL draft, but definitely a first round pick. So then he was also asked about the importance of, the fact Devin Brown's not playing there, playing in the spring game. Kyle McCord is, and about the importance of the way players perform in the spring game. And he said he remember back to where Justin Fields, when he made his spring game debut. Now, he'd only been in the offense for a couple of months after transferring over. But he said that when Justin Fields first took some snaps in the spring game, he said that he went home that night and was concerned about, is Justin Fields going to be a viable starting quarterback for us? Can we count on him to do these things that we need him to do? So he doesn't panic. He said, that's how he felt. You saw what Justin Fields was able to do to Ohio State in the time he was there, obviously, and now he's a star quarterback in the NFL for the Chicago Bears. So he said that more importantly in this is getting guys into the flow of a game and see how they respond in different situations, and seeing how not only the players but the coaches also respond in different situations, trying to simulate some game things. But obviously you've got to be very careful to stay away from injuries. So, but seeing like in game situations, certain situations, are guys getting better? Are they missing assignments? How much do they know about what they're supposed to be doing in those situations? It'll be the first stringers against the first stringers, second stringers against the second stringers for the most part. That's the way it's going to play out. But it should be a great atmosphere over there at the Horseshoe. And he's, again, encouraging people to get out there because he wants to have as real of a game experience for these players, especially young ones that are just now just freshmen, just coming into Ohio State and haven't had a chance to play in the Horseshoe in front of a live crowd like that. The other thing that he brought up that I thought that Ryan Day brought up today in his press conference, by the way, that I thought was really interesting was, and I've always felt this way, that, these guys get better by playing against each other, because you've got some of the top offensive talent and some of the top defensive talent. Look at the numbers of stars coming in and how they performed at the college level. You've got 4 and 5 stars button heads with 4 and 5 stars every day in practice. You're competing with 4 and 5 star guys every day in practice, which is a great thing. If you go to other schools in the Big Ten, even ones that are on the lower end, they don't get that opportunity. This is why the gap continues to stay where it's at with the elite college football programs, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, USC, LSU, schools like that. The reason Clemson, I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anybody obvious, but the reason is because they keep restocking this cupboard of talent. They keep adding in great players that they have to play against then and practice against to get ready in the season. Ohio State might not face a tougher opponent than Ohio State until we get to the Michigan game. It's quite possible that'll be the case, that nobody that they have to go up against will be as talented as the team they face every day in practice. That's something Ryan Day said. Great confidence comes from practicing against great players. He was asked about some of the catchphrases, if there's a catchphrase or a word being thrown around that they use to kind of motivate, and it's compete. It's always compete. You're always competing. And another thing that I thought was very interesting, and he talked about tough love, and a reporter asked him, how do you incorporate tough love into football? And he went on this, I guess, kind of a almost a poetic journey discussing love in football. And maybe we'll put the clip up if we can get the link to if we can get the link to the press conference. You can go. Just a great thing about love and tough love and comparing football and family and what you have to do. And it's very true, and it's something I think that it is absolutely accurate when it comes to football and teams in general. But it was beautifully said by him, and it was off the cuff because it was not something he had written out. He just was speaking from the heart, literally talking about love. Lastly, the final question he got was about NIL and his role in the NIL world. If he oversees it, if he's like, what is, and he kind of laughed at that. And he just basically said, look, we're still figuring this out. He said, I think there needs to be some guardrails in place when it comes to NIL. He said, but he does not have the time, or it can be allowed in a lot of these conversations about NIL when it comes to players and the companies that are trying to help with that. But he did say again that Ohio State's making some progress, making some inroads on raising NIL funds. And it's something he said you have to continue to do. He'll keep going out and speaking on behalf of Ohio State. There's only so much you can do, though. But he was talking about Ohio State, the fan base, Buckeye Nation has certainly been more active in helping out with this. And that's only going to continue to help Ohio State. You see in their recruiting class, they've got a great class. 2024 they're off to a great start for the 2024 class right now with 10 recruits. We talked about some of the guys they've gotten in lately. 4 and 5 stars, all of them except one's a 3-star. Among that 10-person class as it sits, he expects a big class there. But there's so much going on with college football right now. I am Tito, Jeff Tito Thitoff. You can follow me at ThitHappens on Twitter. Listen, like, subscribe to this podcast, and we will talk to you soon. This has been the Buckeye Blitz.